There's not a lot of grenades in Helldivers 2, but the ones we do get offer some pretty unique playstyles if you use them correctly. So what I wanted to do in this video is I wanted to go through each grenade and talk about what they do and their stats and things like that if you didn't know. And then what I wanted to do is I wanted to give these a ranking based on this tier maker list I made. So that way you can figure out which grenades you should be using all the time and which ones you should be avoiding altogether. Anyways, let's get into it. The G10 Incendiary Grenade has a damage of 150, a radius of 7 meters, and a fuse time of 2.9 seconds. Now, this grenade actually got a pretty significant buff recently in the most recent patch of Helldivers 2 because the fire damage over time effect for all sources was increased by 50%, which was huge for this grenade because it needed it so badly. Now, prior to this, I actually thought the grenade was pretty useless. It was a C tier because it could do some stuff, but it just was very underwhelming to use. But now, ever since the update, this has vastly changed my opinion on this grenade. Not only is this grenade no longer laughably underpowered, it's actually really strong against bugs. I mean, it just melts them away with the fire damage over time effect, on top of the fact that it just blows up and does extra damage. Again, this is a much more viable option to use because not only can you use it to plug up the bug holes, you can just throw it on the ground and just burn away any of the medium or light armored enemies on the map. And this actually does a pretty decent amount of damage against the elite enemies as well. Overall, this grenade is in a significantly better place because the fire damage over time effect was finally improved, which I'm so happy about. And I had to change this from a C tier, which is what I originally had it rated as when I did this recording the first time, and now I'm gonna have to actually give it an A tier. The G6 Frag Grenade has a damage of 250, a radius of 8 meters, and a fuse time of 2.4 seconds. And I'm not really sure why this grenade is in the game because it's right in between Impact Grenade and High Explosive Grenade. So it really doesn't have a use because either you want to blow things up and do a lot of damage, or you want to instantly explode when you throw the thing. So the Frag Grenade is in between, but again, it's almost half the damage of those two grenades. It does have a wider radius, but I don't know, it doesn't have a place. I mean, if it was something else, it'd be pretty cool, but overall, when I was using this grenade, I was like, I'd rather be using the heavy grenade or the impact grenade. This grenade just doesn't feel good to use. So I'm gonna have to give this a D tier because again, it just doesn't have a place in Helldivers 2. It should be something else in my opinion. The G3 Smoke Grenade has a damage of 0, a radius of 5 meters, and a fuse time of 2.4 seconds. And I'm just gonna say this right off the bat. Anything smoke related in Helldivers 2, from this orbital strike thing to the Eagle airstrike to this grenade, are all completely useless because they don't do what they're supposed to do. By design, what they're supposed to do is you throw it down and you give yourself cover so that way you can escape the enemy because they're disorientated by the smoke. But all it does is allow the enemies to still shoot you through the smoke and you just can't see anything at this point. So I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. This grenade is a waste of time and it's an immediate F tier. Never run this grenade. It's not useful, at least in its current state, and hopefully down the road they make smoke screening a little bit more useful, but right now it sucks. The G12 High Explosive Grenade has a damage of 400, a radius of 7 meters, and a fuse time of 3.5 seconds. This is by far one of the best explosion items in the game. Not only can it deal with large packs of enemies, but it can close bug holes, it can destroy the bot spawners, and in general, it's just a good overall utility grenade in the game. It's just your run-of-the-mill grenade. I mean, you throw it and it blows stuff up. It does what it's supposed to do, and it does it really well. It's the strongest grenade next to the Impact Grenade. And the fuse time is not that egregious. You can time it well, which allows you to get away from it, or any variety of things. With the Engineer Armor passive, this allows you to have one hell of a combination because you now have 6 of these grenades to be able to deal with any type of situation. So this is an immediate S tier for me because again, the versatility of this is great and it's just your run-of-the-mill awesome regular grenade in my opinion. The G16 Impact Grenade has a damage of 400, a radius of 7 meters, and a fuse time of 0 seconds. Now, if you don't want to run the High Impact Grenade, which takes some time to explode, this is an incredible option as well because it's a good, oh crap, grenade because you just throw it and it explodes and destroys things behind you. Now this can hurt you if you're not careful and you throw it too close to you, but at the same time it's great for those moments where you just need to get an explosion out to clear some mobs because they're in the way. The biggest problem I have with this is that it's not consistent at destroying the bot spawners as well as the bug holes. You throw it at it and it won't always blow them up, which is kind of annoying. But at the same time, when you're using it in any other situation, it's incredibly useful. So just for that reason, I'm gonna have to give it an A tier because it's not as versatile as the high explosive, but again, it's just a good oh crap grenade if you just need to get out of a situation or clear a situation very quickly. The G23 stun grenade has a damage of 0, radius of 4 meters, fuse time of 1.8 seconds, and a duration of about 2 to 4 seconds on the stun. This is the newest grenade added into the cutting edge warbond, and this is by far one of the best grenades you can use in the game. Now I understand on the outside looking in, you may say it's a stun grenade. Why is it so good? I mean, it just stuns stuff. I mean, it can't really be that great. But this thing can actually stun lock the majority of elites in the game. Now this indirectly received a nerf in the most recent patch because prior to the patch it was able to stun Bile Titans. However, now it can't do that, but it can still stun every other kind of elite like chargers and all sorts of other variety of things, and all the other medium and small armored units as well. If you're running a 500 kg bomb, this grenade's even better because you just throw down the stun and then it stuns the enemies. You could just blow them up with a 500 kg and it's actually really awesome. Overall, the utility of this grenade is so awesome, and it's absolutely OP in some cases because if you're running something like the engineer passive on your armor and you get 6 of these grenades, you have tons of crowd control opportunities. The only weakness of this grenade is this does make you a little bit of a liability in the missions that require you to destroy the bot spawners or plug up the bug holes, because you can't do that effectively without a stratagem or some sort of rocket to be able to take out these things, which is a little annoying because if you don't have those things available, you're just basically useless, which on occasions I do find myself in that position. But in general, you just can't undervalue the usefulness of this grenade to be able to just crowd control so much of the enemy forces. It's just so effective against everything. So I had to give this grenade an S tier because, again, even though it did get a little bit of a nerf, it kind of makes sense because you can't stun lock the tanks on the bot side. It makes sense you can't stun lock the Bile Titans, so I'm not going to hold it against them for doing that. But at the same time, like, this grenade is just so god tier, I use it all the time when I'm doing anything in the game. So every grenade is useful in its own way except for the smoke grenade. Never run that thing. But again, when you're thinking about things that you want to run all the time, make sure you're always running the high explosive, the impact, or the stun grenade. Everything else is just more or less a waste of time, and don't worry about it. But anyways, guys, I hope this video helped you. If you have any other thoughts on this or suggestions or things that I may be missing when talking about these grenades, let me know down in the comments below. But otherwise, do all the YouTube stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.